All right, this is going to be Monday, June 26th SPY and QQQ video. So for those of you that, read the reports yesterday, um, the reports are very simple. Do not touch zone, as in to the long side, and major buy zone is, this area at the daily trigger. The thesis for this was the bearish daily LDPM, the bearish VOXs in SPY and QQQ. But the reason why I didn't want to go short, I didn't want to even touch it, is because there was purchasing support in QQQ and even in SPY. There was purchasing support to be found. Now remember, bearish daily LDPM, so I did not want to be long. Price is under the hourly trigger. Do not want to be long. But I was a little nervous about going short because of this newfound purchasing support. And we explained that the purchasing support was there is because when puts are bought and calls, naked or covered, are sold, it introduces stabilizing purchasing support into the market in the case of price down and or IV up event. Meaning, when large market participants get anxious of a move down in the markets and hedge by buying puts or selling calls, that's how you hedge for downside. It forces dealers to hedge by purchasing shares if price actually does go down. Now, this was, pretty solid thesis, and the hedging heat map did show the purchasing support, but the selling pressure was so strong today, it actually chewed right through the purchasing support, which happens, not too often, but definitely happens. This is purchasing support. It isn't, the dark blue, it's the light blue. So it isn't too strong, but usually it can, completely turn price back higher. But today, there was such strong selling that it was able to eat right through it. So that was why I didn't really want to touch it at all. I didn't want to necessarily be short because of the chance that purchasing support completely catches price, and I most certainly didn't want to be long against a bearish daily LDPM and price below the hourly trigger. So I gave three options. Price moves above the hourly trigger, currently at 364.54. Obviously, that didn't happen. Price moves down to the daily trigger, currently at 352.07, where I'm expecting it to catch strong support and form a macro rip into the upside. That would have been a good buy, or daily LDPM moves back below price. None of these happened, obviously. Price was below the hourly trigger all day. Daily LDPM obviously remained bearish the whole day, and price has not yet reached the daily trigger. So with that being said, where do we stand from here? Let's go to the SPY report and the QQQ report to give us some guidance. So QQQ today has moved into the propagation zone, a extremely bearish finding, especially if it stays there. SPY as well is now starting to drift into the propagation zone, an extremely bearish finding. Now think of the propagation zone as like the floor underneath price. And think of VOX moving into the propagation zone as the floor just completely moving out from under price. Now there's nothing to hold it anymore. There's nothing to catch it. So, SPY, snap graphs, all bearish. QQQ, closer dated, tomorrow snap graph bullish, bearish, the rest bullish. Gamma hedging heat map hasn't really changed all that much. I mean, it's changed a little bit from yesterday, but still purchasing support in the case of move down or IV up. SPY, similar situation, price down, IV up, puts price into purchasing support. Now, dealer positioning, we see an increase in bought puts today and an increase in sold calls. So more hedging for the downside going on from larger market participants. And again, same thing here, more puts being bought and more calls being sold. Another hedge. So big players still expecting significant downside. The VOX prints kind of scare me. And I think even with this purchasing support that's introduced by big market players hedging for downside, even with that purchasing support, at this point, I'm thoroughly convinced that we're going to see price hit its daily trigger for not just for SPY, but also for QQQ. Now, if that remains a major buy zone or not, we're going to find out closer to, as price gets down here. The biggest tell would be when price gets down here, daily LDPM turns bullish. That would be a fantastic tell. Now again, we were tracking LDPM already for a while on the daily time frame. Let's remove a couple of these pictures that are up here. Daily LDPM flip bullish, flip bearish. After the gap down on Friday, and Friday, Monday, pretty red price action after that daily LDPM flip. So price comes down here, daily LDPM starts turning bullish again. Then we'll know that this will in fact be a major buy zone. So two options here going forward. First option is that price moves down to the daily trigger. LDPM starts turning bullish. SPY and QQQ's VOX begin to bounce out of the propagation zone back towards stability. And, that will set up a fantastic buy for us as it'll set up a macro airplane where the hourly trigger comes down to the daily trigger holds firm support. And then as the hourly trigger gets really close there to the daily trigger, it, bounces, forms an airplane, and price moves back up through the hourly trigger, results to the upside. And if that's the case, then it sets up an incredible long opportunity for not new highs in the sense of a market, but new highs in comparison to the previous high that QQQ put in. So if price catches support here and the data flips bullish for us, it sets up a ripper all the way up to 377-ish. And for SPY, same thing. If SPY can catch support at the daily trigger, hourly trigger comes down, forms an airplane, rips back higher, we can expect, maybe 446, 448, a new high relative to this. Reasoning for that would be we'd consider this top here a wave 3. Obviously, wave 3 is the strongest. Pullback wave 4, and then wave 5 is going to be a higher high than this wave 3 top. So that's where it's in from here. Now, I've been playing this upside really hard as a trader because all of the signs were bullish and it was just so incredibly easy to make money on the upside. So many stocks were running. It was, it was an incredible opportunity, an opportune time in the market to just make money, make winning trade after winning trade after winning trade, because it was super easy to be long as long as price was above the hourly trigger. I was able to catch some phenomenal dips at the hourly trigger to be able to ride it higher. And again, here was the last macro airplane that we had. Beautiful setup, pushed us way higher. Alerted in the Discord to go long here for a move to 430 at least. So a lot of people were able to benefit from that. Now we're entering more of a choppy zone. And especially for you guys on Meme Stock Watch, where I can't constantly give up updates every second, it's more for the Discord. This is a really hard area to trade. And if you're not a pro, if you're not experienced, if you don't have, 3-4 years experience and under your belt doing this, not going to be easy to make money on this downside move down to 428. So, a lot of you guys know this. Meme Stock Watch, we deleted some data by accidentally deleted 87 accounts. Thankfully, we were able to recover all of them, send out the emails today, but I've been, working nonstop on this for the past 24 hours, like more, honestly, past 36 hours. So it's been a brutal past couple of days for me. Didn't really have a Sunday off day. And I think I'm just going to let this go right here. I don't think I'm going to trade this anymore. I think I'm just going to let price do its thing, get down to the daily trigger, which I fully believe we're going to see at this point, by the way. I fully believe we're going to see this move down to 428. Either I'm just going to take a put position, small size, not even look at it, just set an alert like right here and cut it when we get there, or I'm just not going to trade it at all. Finally take a break. Now, just please understand, in the market, there are times where it's very easy to make money. For example, a macro wave 3, like we just saw in SPY and QQQ. And then there are times where it's really hard to make money, like a wave 4, where price is just drifting sideways, not really moving down violently, but not really moving up violently either. A lot of fake outs in either direction, which is why I labeled this as the do not touch zone. And so my plan moving forward, I'm still not going to touch this. Simply enough. Once price gets down to the daily trigger, if our buy signals start triggering, if VOX QQQ starts moving, VOX and SPY and QQQ starts moving up out of the propagation zone into stability, if we see massive amounts of dealer long puts show up, LDPM turns bullish, if price is able to bounce off the daily trigger, then move back up above the hourly trigger, we have tons and tons of signs that'll be able to tell us when price action is bullish again. But for this remainder of the move, for the $5 left that we have down on QQQ, and for the it looks like $3.50 that we have left down in SPY, don't plan on trading it. So that's my plan going forward. Again, with the newest developments in VOX and SPY and QQQ, I do think price is headed down. SPY to the daily trigger. The daily trigger will move up, a couple of cents every day. QQQ, I think we're going down to the daily trigger. And, what I hope to be able to do, especially with you guys, because, we want to make some great trades together, learn how to do it in the process. I hope that we're able to get this bounce and, continue moving to the upside. That'll set up some easy money making opportunities. But if this level is lost, then it's time to put on your bear suits. And what I mean by that is that if the hourly trigger crosses down below the daily trigger, more than likely QQQ is coming all the way back down to its weekly trigger. And if that happens, this will be a really nice short opportunity from 350 to 325. And for SPY, it's going to be about 428 all the way down to 413. This I'll short. But until that happens, this remains for me. Simply do not touch zone. I don't want anything to do with this area. So my forecast moving forward, I'm predicting a drop to the daily trigger for SPY, for QQQ, drop down to the daily trigger. If our buy signals start triggering, I plan on buying this dip here and riding it up to a newer high. That should be a phenomenal opportunity to make money on a lot of trades. Google, Amazon will probably have really nice moves to the upside. Snow as well, I'm watching for a really nice move to the upside. Roku, I'm watching for a really nice move to the upside. Not yet, obviously, until this moves down here. And in case this doesn't hold and SPY VOX keeps dropping, QQQ VOX, keeps dropping, and the hourly trigger crosses below the daily trigger, then we'll trade this. So two options. Either we get this bounce and we trade a really super nice upside move, or the hourly trigger crosses below the daily trigger and we trade a really nice downside move. For the next couple of days, I don't plan on being too active on the trading floor. So I hope this helps you guys. Again, it's not always about making money, especially in the beginning. Meme Stock Watch is only 3 weeks old. It's really about education, helping retail traders, not just learn about trading, but learn about the data that we use to forecast the market. Using VOX and QQQ, we're able to call the top right here. Thursday night, right before this whole downside move, we're able to call risk off and hopefully save a lot of you guys from, losing money on the long side in this wait for a pullback, assuming that's what it is here. And hopefully we'll continue to grow together, to learn together, and obviously the end goal, make money together in the market. So with that, I'll end the video and looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.